Hello designers, we're going to be making this two-piece wear, a top with a skirt. For the top, it has a C neckline and a sleeveless, just has a tiny design at that sleeve area, at the shoulder area. So for the skirt part, it has a kind of wavy design around the hip area, and it came with a gather design. Also, this outfit is made with a chiffon material. I'm also going to be using a chiffon material for mine as well. So here I folded my material into two, and I'll start off by marking up my starting point line. So for my neck area, I'm going to be using a 3.5 inches for it. So for the width, I'm using 3.5, and I'm also going to be using 3.5 for the depth as well. Remember, we are cutting this directly on the fabric, so that means after sewing it, I'll be having a 4x4 neck width and depth. I get, so I marked it 3x3, and after that I connected it with a straight line. So for my shoulder, I'm going to measure my shoulder by 2. So shoulder measurement divided by 2, I marked it there. And then I'll be coming down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope, and to this I'll be connecting it to the tip of my neckline. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to place my tape at the shoulder slope. I'm going to measure my armhole depth. For armhole depth, it's your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So because I'm cutting directly on fabric, I marked my line and I added half inches to it for joining it. So I'm going to measure what I have at the shoulder area, and I'm going to place that same measurement at the lower part, just to be able to get a straight line. And to this, I'm going to add in half of an inch to this. So I didn't add it to half inch before. Now I added half of an inch to it, just for sewing, for turning the sleeve area. So I added that same half inches to the lower part, and I'm going to be connecting my straight line. I hope you are following. So this is it. I connected my straight line just to be able to get a straight line, to be able to help me to get my armhole curve. You get. So that is it. So I'm still going to divide. So to this straight line, I'll be dividing it by 2. When I divide it by 2, at the midpoint, I'm going to be going in by half of an inch. Now we are forming our armhole curve. Went in by half of an inch, and then over to the bust area, and I'm going to now divide my bust by 4. When I divide it by 4, I'll place my measurements, and I'm going to be using 1.5 inches for my seam allowance to get. So I've added half 1.5 inches to this, and then I can now connect my armhole curve. So from the tip to the middle, that half of an inch went in the middle, and then from that middle to the bust expansion, like the bust measurements that we marked there. This is our armhole curve. So I also went ahead to curve out my neck area. Remember, it's a C curved neckline. Then I curved out my neckline as shown. So now I'm going to be getting the full length of my blouse. Remember, from the thumbnail you can see that the blouse is stopping at the tummy area. That's the half length. So I marked 17 inches, and to that I'm going to be adding extra 1 inch to it. So I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it. So after that, after sewing the neck area, I mean the shoulder area by half of an inch and the hem area by half of an inch, I'll be left with 17 inches at last. So I'm going to be connecting this with my ruler to have a straight line, and this is our full length for the blouse. And to this full length, so I'm going to be placing our waist measurements. The waist divided by 4. I'm going to be placing it at that full length. So I'm trying to get what my waist divided by 4 is. That's why I'm folding my tape. I'm going to fold it again. Or you can just use your calculator to just mark out what your waist divided by 4 is. And whatever you have there, you're going to be placing it at your waist area. When you place it at your waist area, you're also going to add your 1.5 seam allowance to it, just as we did for the bust area. You get, that's my 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to be joining the waist measurements or connecting the lines to the bust as well. You get, so I connected it to the bust area, and this is it for our top, for the front part of our top. And then we are going to be cutting this out exactly as shown. Remember, this is a chiffon material, so you have to be careful, especially when rolling with a straight line. But the trick is to make sure you iron it. Just when you fold your material into two, give it a good press so that it's not be shaking or dancing all over the place. You get. See, I'm trying to confirm if I added half inches to the sewing allowance for my armhole area. So try to confirm your measurement, and I found out that I did. And then I'll proceed to the cutting. So I folded my fabric again into two, and I'm going to be placing the front part on it. So I'm going to use the front part that will cut out as I get to cut out for the back pattern you get. So I place the front on it, making sure that I have a space at the center back for my zipper allowance. You get. So I left some space there, my zipper allowance, and then I'm going to be extending my marking up to the upper part, and then to get the certain points line. So for the neck depth of the back, I'm going to use 1.5 inches for the neck depth, and then I connected it to the tip of my shoulder like this. So this is for my neck for the back, and then I'm for the zipper extension. I'm going to be using 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. So I measured out my 1.5 inches. I found out that this wasn't enough, so I tried to make adjustments to the material. So I am using 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. So I'll make sure that it's able to contain my 1.5 inches zipper allowance, and then I'm going to mark it out and connect it with a straight line. So apart from the zipper, adding a zipper allowance and altering the neck depth for the back, every other thing remains the same: the side, the armhole, the shoulder area. So I proceeded to cutting it out, and then we have our front and our back pattern ready. So now our front and our back bodies are ready. So this is it. So you can see the front and the back, and then we proceed to cutting out the skirt part. So this I was folding my fabric into two, and then I'll be start by marking out my starting point line. So to the starting point line, I'm going to be placing my waist measurement, waist divided by 4. I place it there, and then I'm going to be extending a 1.5 inches sewing allowance to that. So I'm placing 1.5 inches on my tape at the starting point line because 1.5 inches is going to be our waistband, and I start placing my vertical measurements from there. The full length to be 11 inches. Then for that, I either half of an inch to it for joining the lower part, that pleated design, that's 11.5. So I'm going to do the same marking at that side, 11.5 inches. So for this, I now connected my straight lines together first. So from the design, it has a wavy design at that front area. So, but first of all, get my hip measurements first before trying to design the lower part. So your hip divided by 4, went ahead to mark it out. I found that my fabric was not able to get to it, so I did an little extension. So I'm going to repeat my measurement. My hip divided by 4, place some measurement, and then add my 1.5 inches sewing allowance to that. So I'm going to go over to the waist area to redo or replace my measurement because I adjusted the material. So the same waist divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches. So this is the 1.5 inches there. Then I'm going to connect my markings together with a straight line. And then we're going to move over to designing the skirts. And the first thing I did is that I tried to separate the actual design from this seam allowance. So this is me marking out the actual design measurements we have on our bodies. That's the actual waist measurement and the actual hip measurements before we added our 1.5 inches sewing allowance, because I want this to be a guide to creating out my curve you get. So I'm trying to make it more visible by drawing it out with a straight line. So this is what we have. So for the length, for where I want my curve to start from, I want the curvy area to start from around 8 inches. So plus half of an inch, that means 8.5 inches for mine. Like how I want the curve design to start out from. And then I went ahead to connect it to the full length to curve it out as shown. So because I'm going to be using a waistband of 1.5 inches, so I'm going to be adding my seam allowance of half inches at that waist area. So I marked it all the way to the tip, and I'm going to connect it with a straight line. This half of an inch is for joining the waistband to the skirt parts. So I marked out my half of an inch sewing allowance at the waist area as well. So here I went ahead to cross check the design I'm trying to recreate, and I found out that it's not just a one curve from the center front to the full length of the skirt. So I went ahead to mark out that same 8.5 inches that we have for the starting point line of our curve. I marked it at the hip area, like at the side front, and then I recreated my curve. You guys can see I created a new curve. It came down, and from that coming down, like when it came down, I recreated the curve again. This is it's going to be like a wavy design, you get. So the starting point of the curve remain 8.5 inches on both sides. On both sides, you can see, and then they now extended downward to the 11.5 inches that we have. So this is it. So this is the design that we have at the top. This is what they're trying to recreate here. So as I recreated my design, and this is what I'm going to be using, and I went ahead to cut out everything out. That's why it's important to check and cross check what you're trying to work on before cutting out. As a fashion designer, you get, in case of an error, you can easily correctly correct it. Not when you are done cutting out, tell that, oh, you missed the an important design. So this is what we have, and I'm going to be cutting it out because it's what we are trying to recreate that we now have on our material. I hope you're following. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I'm there to attend to you. I reply on my comments. So now my front body is ready. I'm going to fold my material again into two. I'm going to using the front body to cut out the back, making sure that I have enough seam allowance for our zipper allowance at the back as well. So also for the zipper allowance, I'm going to use 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance of the back as well. So I went ahead to mark it all the way to the upper part. And then apart from the zipper allowance placement at the back, every other thing remains the same. Then I'm going to be cutting it out. So just extend the starting point line and then extend also this curvy part as well. And then I'm going to proceed to cutting it out, and that is it. Our back body is also ready. So the thing there is that to get the full length of this, we're going to be subtracting your full length from the 8.5 inches that we use for the starting points of our curved area, and not the 11 points, and not the 11 inches, I mean to say. So it's going to be 8 inches because that half is for our joining allowance. So we're going to subtract our full length from minus 8 inches. For me, I don't want this to be a very long skirt, so I make it to be shorter. If you want it to be longer, just use this calculation: your full length minus your 8 inches, whatever inches you are using for the starting point of your curve, you get. So this is it. I cut it out, and then we have our all our bodies ready. So we're going to proceed to cutting out the remaining things that we need to be able to create this beautiful two piece. So for that design at the shoulder area that we have there, that sleeve area that's attached at the shoulder joining, so I folded my material into two, and I want it to be a 2 inches extension, like the length to be 2 inches. So this is on fold. I'll be cutting out 2.5 inches on fold. So and then I'm going to be measuring out the length as well. So for the length, I want it to extend to the front by 4 inches, and also extend to the back by 4 inches. That's giving us what, 8 inches. So to that 8 inches, I'm going to be adding half inches for turning the side, like for sewing the two edges of the fabric. That means at the end I'll be having what, 9 inches. So I marked out my 9 inches, and I'm going to be cutting this to be 2. So I measured that for the other sleeve as well, 9 inches as well, and then I'll be cutting it out. So for the waistband, I'm going to be using this hairstay for my waistband. It's a medium weight hairstay or paper stay. So I'm using a marker for this so that it will be visible. So I marked out a straight line first. I wrote out a straight line. And remember, for our waistband, we're using 1.5 inches for our waistband. That means I'm going to cut out half 1.5 inches for this hairstay as well. So I marked out my 1.5 inches, and I'll be connecting it with a straight line. And to this, I'm going to make sure that I place the measurements that we have, like our round waist measurement for the front is some fold, and also for the back, I'm going to continue two piece for the back piece as well. So here I'm trying to get the measurement for my waist for the back. You know the back is 2 piece, so that's why I marked at the center. Then I'm going to be splitting this into two for the two back side, one for this one back and one for the other, and then proceed to cutting out a long piece for our front bodies. This is 1.5 inches too for the waistband, and we're going to make sure that I place the length, the waist measurements of our front. Not the front is on fold, but for this I'm not folding it into two, so I'm going to make sure that the measurements on fold is the exact measurement I have. So this piece is what I'm going to be using to wrap up the waistband. That's the hairstyle that we cut out. So this is a piece of fabric we're going to be using for our gathers at the lower part of the skirt, and for the length I'm using a length of 17 inches, and I have it is a 4.25 inches yards for the width, or for the length is 17 inches. So make use of the length you want, you get, and this is it. So now I'm going to proceed to cutting out our lining for the top and also for the skirt. So I folded it into two, and I start by cutting out the lining of the back bodies or the back piece for the front. That's the back piece of the top, I mean to say. So I placed my fabric into two, and then I'm going to be cutting out exactly what I have as the lining as well. And so I'm going to be doing the same thing for the front top as well. Remember, the center front is on fold, so make sure that you align the center front piece to be on fold as well. And I'm going to be cutting it exactly as shown. So now over to the skirt part. I folded my fabric again, my lining into two, and I start by cutting out for the back piece, like the back piece of our skirt. So I folded my lining into two, and I proceed to cutting it exactly as we have on the piece as well. And then you're going to repeat the same thing for the front. Remember, the front is also on fold, so place your lining to be on fold and align the center front of the front and the back piece, and then we are going to be tracing it out exactly. So, and that is it for the cutting out of our lining pieces, and then we'll proceed to the sewing part. I think this video is lengthy for now, so I'm going to create another video for the sewing aspect of this two piece. So turn on your notification bell and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, bye bye, stay blessed. Please give this video a thumbs up if you watch up to this point and you have not liked the video. Like this video and share it with your fellow designers. Once again, bye bye. See you in the sewing tutorial, and that I'll be dropping shortly as well.